Welcome to the Ordinary Doula Podcast with Angie Rozier, hosted by Birth Learning, where we help prepare folks for labor and birth with expertise coming from 20 years of experience in a busy doula practice, helping thousands of people prepare for labor, providing essential knowledge and tools for positive and empowering birth experiences.
Hello and welcome to the Ordinary Doula Podcast. My name is Angie Rozier. I'm your host, and we are sponsored by Birth Learning. So today's topic came to me from a friend. So this friend is not of childbearing years, but her children are. She has 4 daughters, and they have started having children of their own. And I was surprised to learn, listens to this podcast. She is not in that realm of life where she would need this information, but she listens to this, and she gave me the suggestion for the topic of this episode. And she said, could you do one that talks about how grandmas can help, like how grandmas can help and support? And I thought that was fascinating. I'm like, oh, what a great idea. So shout out to my good friend for this suggestion. So a lot of times family members will be involved at some extent, to some level, in a supportive role, or hopefully it's going to be supportive in the birth process or the postpartum process. So if you find yourself being that family member who's in that supportive role, you may be the mother of the mother, you may be the mother of the father, you may be the father of either, you may be a sibling or a friend, but I'm going to kind of specifically gauge my comments to a mother of the mother and a mother of the father, because those tend to be the most common support roles that we see. We also might have sisters or cousins or sisters-in-law or friends that are supportive in those roles as well, that we're going to kind of focus on support coming from a maternal mother or paternal mother. All right, so each family group has, believe it or not, birth culture about it. So wherever you were raised, whatever family you were raised in, whatever part of the country you were raised in, we have like different levels and layers of culture, right? Like our whole United States has, any country we're talking about has a culture about birth. And that has a lot to do with the history of a place and the medical history of a place, the midwifery history in a place. And then every state and every community, every city and a state will have slightly, they don't vary a whole lot from there, but they're going to have nuances based on what hospitals are nearby, what birth centers might be nearby, what laws are in place in those states and places surrounding birth. And then we get down to that closer level, a neighborhood and or families for sure. That family culture about birth is going to permeate every single individual on the deepest level, when these other bigger layers also permeate, but on more broad levels. So think about your family's birth culture. If you're one of the grandmas, what is your family birth culture, and what family birth culture did you even unknowingly create for your family? And that has to do with people's experience, right? Culture comes from experience, from practices, from tradition, comes from what we experience, from others around us, what they experience. So consider your family birth culture. I have worked with thousands of clients, and they each come from a slightly different family birth culture. And I can tell upon talking with my clients, within just a few minutes, what their family birth culture might be like. Some that are my clients, are working very hard to buck their family birth culture, to go against it, because maybe they've learned something different or something they perceive as better, or maybe they feel differently about that. I've had many clients where they say, our whole family is full of medical doctors and medical workers, but we want to have a birth center birth, and our family's really fighting us against that. I've also had people come from family cultures where my mom had babies at home, my mom was a Lamaze instructor, whatever that might be. They're coming from a particular family birth culture. So culture can change just because someone was raised in a certain kind of belief system about birth doesn't mean they keep it, but it definitely influences them. So consider your family's birth culture. So I'm speaking to grandmas mostly grandmas, sometimes sisters, who are often present at some point during pregnancy, maybe labor, during birth. A lot of clients have someone coming from out of town around the time the baby's going to be born. Maybe you happen to live near your family and they're a more regular part of the process. But when someone comes from out of town, they're generally coming with that sole purpose to help or to support or to be there. And what that looks like is different in every situation. Now, if you're coming from out of town, it's a little bit of a challenge and an opportunity because you're coming for a purpose. Like, you're not diluted by all the other things in your life, like grandma, if you have a job or you like to, do things with your friends. If you go to a different city to help your child have a child, you're kind of there for one purpose. So it can be feeling a little bit intense for everyone involved. So oftentimes I have seen, and it's different for everyone. Every family is different. Every dynamic will be a little bit different. So you have to decide, and you don't have to decide. The pregnant person has to decide, and partner are going to decide what's best for them. So I want you to remember that. Say that to yourself 2 or 22 times. What do they want? What do they want? How can I give them the support that they want, they need? Rather than coming in guns a-blazing, say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to tell them this and teach them that. Be open. I think I'm going to say probably be open about 22 times as well during this podcast. Be open to what they want and what support it is that they need. Now, some family dynamics are easy about this. Like, a grandma comes to town, she's the best kind of help they could have. She knows them, she meets all their needs, she's very comfortable in their home. Other times, we have a grandma come to town who isn't quite sure how to help. That's okay. That's normal, but be open to learning about how they can best help. Okay, so again, start by being open. And I encourage my clients to have a conversation about this. They know their family dynamic. They know the relationships they have with each person in their family, whether a sister's coming to town, brother's coming to town, a whole family's coming to town. You know the support of your family dynamic. And sometimes I've suggested where this could be better in written form. I have had, in certain family dynamics, clients choose to create a birth plan for the support they want around their birth. And maybe they don't call it a birth plan. Maybe they call it a support plan. Sometimes it's easier to communicate that in writing. Hang it on the fridge, email it, make it fun, make it cute. Sometimes humor goes a long way, but sometimes seeing things in writing, and maybe you're not able to say certain things to your family dynamics, but you can express them in writing. And that might be an easier way to do it. I had one client years ago who had a family communication plan regarding the social media use of their soon-to-be grandchildren. So this couple did not want their babies plastered all over the internet. And so they kind of created those expectations in a family birth plan, if you will. And the focus of it was social media use. So there's lots of different ways to go about communicating this. Some people, and I've seen this a lot, when someone's coming into town with the express purpose of being helpful, they will have these people stay in a different location. So this depends on a lot of things, a lot of resources, the size of the home where the people having the baby live. Can it accommodate an extra 2 people, 1 people, 6 people? Is it going to be pretty crowded? And being crowded and having a lot of people in a close quarters might be amazing for some families, and it might be terrible for others. Again, there's no right or wrong. It's just the particular needs of the pregnant couple and what it is, or the pregnant person and what it is that they want and need, and their family dynamic. I remember when I had my first baby, I had someone in my life, a family member, who, when she had babies, she invited her brothers, who were adults by that time, their wives, her sisters, her mom, her dad. Like, she just wanted them all to come and crash at her house, hang out, like have these massive sleepovers, movie parties, hang out, eat popcorn, play games. And she was there. That's how she recovered. She would be there with her new baby amidst all this family party. And it was low key, it was stayed at home and stuff. To me, that sounded terrible. She had babies before I did, and she offered to do that for me. She's like, do you want me to come? We can watch movies, we'll hang out. And I was like, no, way do I want that. I want to figure this out in a quiet, peaceful setting. She was having her fourth baby, before I had my first. That's part of it. But for me, I wanted the peace and quiet of less people. So I had one person come help for a couple of days, not a whole family, and come watch movies and stuff. So consider staying in a different space if that will serve the purpose better, if you're coming from out of town to help. Some people want to stay nearby. They get an Airbnb down the street, or they get a hotel. They stay with another family member. But for others, they do want that in-home 24/7 care. And so maybe that includes some nighttime care. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But kind of be open again to and explore what it is that's needed by the people who are seeking support. So find out from the people having this baby what's important to them. What are their goals? Don't pass judgment on this. Just learn from them what their goals are. Do they want a C-section? Do they not want a C-section? Do they want an epidural? Do they not want an epidural? This might be none of your business, and they might not share it with you. But whatever is shared with you, please be supportive. Be open. Be curious. Hear about it. Honor it. See how you can support it. Offer hope, offer support. Don't rip anything down. Don't dig anything up. Don't say, I didn't do it that way. Don't say, just do this, just do that. That's what I did. You're going to hate that. You're going to regret this. And that can be for anyone's goals, right? The goals that anyone has for their birth are on a very broad spectrum of normal. And any side of that, support it, whatever it is. Be curious, maybe ask questions, but be open and supportive. And sometimes that's just keeping our mouth shut, honestly. So realize too that there's been changes in this field since you yourself might have had a baby. Maybe you had a baby 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Guarantee you there's changes in procedures, there's changes in recommendations, a lot of research has been done, there's changes in medical medications, there's changes in research, a lot more research has been done, especially surrounding breastfeeding. Breastfeeding didn't get a whole lot of research behind it until the last 15, 20 years. So we're starting to learn a whole lot more about that. So not only are you supporting someone in having a baby, you're supporting them after they have the baby. And there's a whole lot more time after that. Remember that the postpartum period is a lot longer than the labor period. So honor and support their choices about feeding their baby and everything else. Meet them where they are. And don't try to change it unless done ever so gently, and if that's a successful thing to do in your dynamic. So be a source of encouragement. Be cautious. Be a source of hope. I recently had a friend, a very, very dear friend, who was with her daughter having her first baby. And this daughter, I did her childbirth preparation and education. She lives in a different state, so I was not, it wasn't possible for me to be any of her labor support. Her mom was going to, and her mom's a dear friend of mine. And I've watched this little girl grow up. It's funny, at the age of my life now, a lot of my friends' kids are having babies, or some of the people that I helped have a baby, their kids are getting close to that age. So we're getting on to second generation stuff. Oh, and this particular friend, I have been her doula a couple of times, and I've seen her have a baby. And my friend, who is now a brand new grandma, when she has babies, she does it so easily. She goes into labor on her own. She's done birth center births. She's done home births. So obviously she's going unmedicated, easy breezy for her. Her pregnancies are easy. Her labors are short. Things go well. And now she's helping her daughter, right? And this particular labor lasted. It started on a Monday and the baby was born on a Thursday. And I was in contact a lot with my friend as she helped her daughter navigate the labor process. And she's like, I have never knew contractions could last this long, that they don't move on and produce a baby after a little while, because this was different than her situation. The mom having the baby, the cute young new mom, her goal was to go unmedicated, just like her mom had done. Her birth culture in her family supported that, and she came with that. We did education and preparation toward that goal and gave her some tools and some mindsets to be able to do that. Well, after labor was lasting, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, she was exhausted. labor had progressed 1 centimeter in 16 hours, and she made to her a difficult choice to get an epidural. So she got an epidural. My friend, her mom, had never gotten an epidural. She's like, oh, this is all new to me. And so we talked on the phone about ways to support after an epidural as well, which there are many. As time went on, it turns out this baby had to be born by cesarean after several hours of pushing. And the baby's heart rate, they were kind of watching that pretty closely throughout a lot of the labor as well. So that was very different than what this cute new mom wanted, different what her mom, who's now a brand new grandma, had ever experienced. So things took a turn, and as I communicated with my good friend on the phone and through text, she's like, this is hard. Like, this is so hard. She's like, I'm tired. This is sad for me. It's hard to watch her do all this. She's been amazing, but this is hard. And I talked to her about remaining that source of hope. Like, you remain her. She needs that from her team. And her team at that point was her mom and her husband. Like, she needs that support and encouragement from you. So be that source of hope, even when it was hard. So find out what's important to your daughter, your daughter-in-law, your sister, your aunt, your cousin, your niece, whoever it is you're going to be supporting. Find out what's important to them and what they want your role to be. So have them help you clearly get a defined role. Like, all right, I'm coming to town, I'm going to help you, or I'm going to come stay at your house for a couple of days. What can I do? What would be best for you? Maybe you have a really great background in breastfeeding and they want your support for breastfeeding. Maybe you never breastfed your children and you don't agree with it. You might not be the best breastfeeding support help in that case. Maybe they just want company. I did a postpartum shift a couple weeks ago, and this was a couple having their second baby. They were home. I was their birth doula and then did some postpartum hours for them. And the mom and dad came from out of town, stayed down the street in an Airbnb, came over, helped with the 4-year-old, helped clean, helped cook, did a lot of things in home. But they kind of left the mom to her own. They're like, okay, let her rest, be very quiet, let her sleep. When I got there for my postpartum work, the mom said, they're all leaving me alone and I don't want to be alone. I just want to be with somebody, but I don't want it to be my 4-year-old. So part of my role that day was just sitting with her. We sat on her bed. We talked. She just didn't want to be alone. And the grandparents had other roles. So sometimes it is just being with. I have another dear colleague whose mother would come to town and help her every time she had a baby. But that mother, the way she wanted to help, her helpful role was to hold the baby while she sat on the couch. So we have this grandma who's holding the baby sitting on the couch. And my friend, who is new postpartum, she's like, I was making my mom lunch every day. I was like doing the dishes every day. Like, my mom thought her help would be holding the baby. Grandmas, if that's how you want to help, check in with your folks and see if that's okay. Maybe they do want to break from the baby for a little while, but there's a lot of other moving parts that generally need the attention and the help more so than holding the baby. Let the mom be the one to hold the baby. So find out what expectations are. Be receptive. Be open, be respectful, honor and support where people are. And then I also want to talk about other ways to help. You could help financially. I've had many, many clients who the help from parents or in-laws or grandparents is in the form of financial support. Maybe they pay for visits with an IBCLC lactation consultant. Maybe they pay for a birth doula. Maybe they pay for some postpartum hours. So they bring a professional in. Someone, if they're not interested in helping all the ways, if they're unable, if it's not a good dynamic for that, then they can help in other ways. So a lot of our postpartum jobs might be funded by family members. Great way to help. Maybe you help in the home. Go in. I can almost guarantee you, this is what I hear all the time. The help people want is meal prep, house cleaning. Maybe they already have a house cleaner. Maybe they've already got a meal train coming in or frozen meals. But laundry, like the little things as a mom is in her new postpartum recovery time, take care of the little things in her home that she would not be able to do or shouldn't do. But usually it's hands-on home help is what's needed. including food, laundry, errands, maybe running errands. If there's other children, it's a lot of times obviously taking care of those other children. I also want to tell you a common phrase I hear from my clients who's they talk about their mom, whether this is the partner's mom or the birthing person's mom. They say, my mom stresses me out, or your mom stresses me out. And that's a curious statement to me. Obviously, some people say, I love my mom so much, but she'd put me on edge. I love my mom so much, but I can't have her there. She stresses me out. So again, be open, be curious. Every family dynamic is different, no right or wrong, just differences, and recognize them and what roles would be best in that. Let the birthing person be your guide. Let if it's a mom and a dad, if it's a partnership or a couple, let the both of them be your guide. Be open to what it is that they need and how you can best help them. It depends on family dynamic, and only they and you know your best family dynamic, because you can be an incredible source of support in so many ways. I've had many times at a birth when a grandma has been there and I'm like, do you want a job? Because I would love to work with you. You are an amazing support, an amazing doula. They say the appropriate things. They're super supportive. They're kind and gentle in their approach. I've been with other clients whose mom or mother-in-law is in the room, and it's so challenging. It creates a lot of challenges, and you can feel that dynamic when there's challenges created in the room. So be that open, supportive, be curious, and discover, don't create your own role, but discover what their expectations of you are, so you can be a role that truly is supportive for them. So that's a few tips on how grandmas can help and support in the labor, the birth, and the postpartum period. Good luck to you. Family is a great source of support in many cases, and hopefully that will be the case for your family, because it's a pretty exciting time, and a lot of things we know are done out of love and concern. And so regardless of the situation, if there's some challenges to it, hopefully we can recognize that people are behaving the way they are because they love you. They want to support you. They want you involved, but do it to a level that will be appropriate for them. That is all we have to wrap it up today for how grandmas and other family members can support. Hopefully you'll find that good, perfect balance in your situation. Thanks for being with us here today on the Ordinary Doula Podcast. This is Angie Rozier, your host, and hopefully you can go out as we're speaking about support and see someone in your life who you can support today and how they best need support. Ask them, be curious, be open, be receptive, and offer that love and support to those around you who need it. It will come back to you, I promise. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again next time.
Thank you for listening to the Ordinary Doula Podcast with Angie Rozier, hosted by Birth Learning. Episode credits will be in the show notes. Tune in next time as we continue to explore the many aspects of giving birth.